right, so we're going to continue our special focus here on SABC News on illegal mining, what we've seen also come out of Stilfontein. Let's discuss this a little bit further now with the SANCO spokesperson in the North West Mzukisi Jam, who joins us now. But Mzukisi, thank you very much for your time. We do appreciate it here on SABC News. Now, look, a little bit earlier on, we were speaking to the health department in the Northwest, and this, of course, following reports, that the rescue operations have now come to a close because there are no miners coming up. Should rescue operations actually end there?
Thank you very much, Casaldo, for having me. I think the first thing that we need to really make an emphasis on before we go to your question is that we are not here to mobilize for sympathy from the likes of Mr. Herman Mashaba and some thugs who depended on the very same constitution while they were convicted, who are now feeling that the same constitution should be applied differently. Now, coming back to your question, Casaldo, we do not think the rescue operation should be stopped. We feel it should have been extended to shaft number 10, which, according to the reports we got from our own volunteers, are indicating that there are some bodies left in that shaft. We do understand, however, the conditions on the same shaft, but we still feel that there should be some efforts made in trying to reach to those bodies. They can't just be left lying there like they do not matter.
But I mean, how do you then respond, Mr. Jam, to, criticism which has been there, that NGOs should not be seen to be promoting criminal aspects of illegal mining, by, for example, prioritizing rescue operations underground, taking into account exactly what you have said, but there is the other element as well. How do you call for an end to illegal mining, ensure that, this challenge is dealt with, but be seen to be supporting or even assisting with these kinds of operations? It's a double-edged sword, if I can, in this particular aspect, where you would either be seen, you're doomed if you do, you're doomed if you don't. But the question also here is there's been criticism that some kind of support seems to be given to the illegality of what we are all denouncing now, which is continuing. It's been happening for years.
I think we would disagree with the approach the government is taking to say in dealing with criminality, you must kill criminals. We disagree with that kind of an approach. Secondly, we are not condoning criminality by any means, but what we cannot stand for or allow is a situation where it is said that on the basis of the fact that people are regarded as criminals, then they must die in that
All right, we do seem to have a challenger with that line with the Mzukisi Jam from SANCO. We're going to try and connect. Can you hear me, Mr. Jam?
Can you hear me now?
Mr. Jam, I can hear you a bit in the background. Are you able to hear me?
Casaldo?
Yes, I can. Please continue, Mr. Jam. All right, we're going to come out of that. We must apologize for that. Live television, of course, a bit of a break in transmission there. In case we're not able to go back to Mr. Jam, we will try, though. We did reach out to the Department of Mineral Resources as well, and we do understand from our team of producers here that they were not available for comment on this, of course, in our quest to balance our commentary on this particular aspect. All right, let's try to reconnect once again with Mzukisi Jam, who is a spokesperson for SANCO. We're talking about the issue of illegal mining. Mr. Jam, I hope you can hear me this time.
I can hear you very well.
Thank you so much. So please continue. You were saying that you do not agree with government's stance on how this particular matter should be handled. Please continue.
We totally disagree with the approach by government that in dealing with criminality, you must kill criminals. We totally disagree. And we have never by any means condoned illegality, but criminality. But what we have been contesting is the fact that these are human beings that we are talking about. It's not just some objects. And by virtue of being human beings, they have rights. And the only right that we've been contesting is their right to life. So we have been saying, let these people be extracted to the surface, then any other criminal processes can take place and we won't stand on anybody's way. But what we won't allow as SANCO is a situation where the government says these people are criminals, therefore they deserve to die in these inhumane conditions that others have died
Mr.
on.
Jam, perhaps maybe I should come in there. You said that you would not agree with the notion that there should be these criminals, that's what you said, should be left down there to die. How do we then balance, the criticism versus what you are saying? In a situation where illegal mining has been an ongoing problem. This is not the first time we are on the Stilfontein matter. We've seen all of this unfold in other parts of the country where it does not begin to be seen for criminals to say, I will continue to go underground. If anything should happen to me, there's a government that is going to come and give me food. There's a government that's going to come and extract me if the ground or the surface does not hold. We are stuck down there because we're sitting with a serious issue of illegal mining. How do we balance what you are saying is the right to life and also dealing with a problem that's been ongoing? And I can almost guarantee you, it is not going to go away anytime soon. We're going to be sitting with the very same problem next month, the following month, towards the end of the year. How do you balance this? I get the fact that you say the right to life must be respected, but we're talking about criminals. These are thugs. This is an illegal activity. There's no dispute there. How do we balance? I'm not disputing what you're saying, sir, but we cannot send out a statement to people that simply says, I can break into your house, take your food, and when you catch me, I expect you to feed me from the same food in your fridge. That's it. So you could answer me there.
I don't think that is the approach. And I also do not want us to pretend as if we do not understand why these people are doing what they are doing, which the government regards as criminality. The country is faced with a huge rate of unemployment and alarming levels of poverty. Come to North West. North West is leading nationally in terms of unemployment, and the poverty is scary.
Yes.
So we can't then talk, the government cannot then talk as if they do not understand why these people are doing what they are doing. Of course, we are not condoning criminality.
All right. And perhaps maybe another aspect, Mr. Jam, which we could speak about, reports about nearby communities that are benefiting from illegal mining. Let's get your response on that. And how should we actually, or how do you come in an aspect like this? Because the enablers, I guess, of this kind of conduct, given the circumstances that you speak about, is also an element that needs to be dealt with, because that is a fact. For example, on the West Rand, there are communities in those areas that are benefiting from illegal mining in these areas.
Another thing that we must not forget, Griselda, is that we must not take DMRE out of the picture. DMRE are the custodians of mining generally, so they failures at some point should not therefore be blamed entirely on us as the community. DMRE has failed in making sure that they monitor mining in general. But what we are actually saying as SANCO is that, for an example, in the situation in Stilfontein, the government is actually has an opportunity to turn these abandoned shafts, into or use them in terms of curbing unemployment and poverty within the region, instead of saying, let us just seal these mines and leave. Because then if you are saying, let us seal these mines and leave, you are actually not saying, and you are actually not resolving or solving solving the problem. Because the biggest problem here that we are facing is poverty and unemployment, which the government is dismally, or should I say the government is successfully failing to address. Then we can't then take the failures of the state or the government in terms of taking care of its own people. We can't then blame the community for the failures of the government.
All right, Mr. Jam, I'm afraid, our line is not the greatest, but we've got the gist of what SANCO's position is on this particular matter. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. As I indicated earlier, we did reach out to the Department of Mineral and Petroleum Resources for some comment on this, but they were not available. But who we're speaking to is a SANCO spokesperson in the North West Mzukisi Jam